So we met at North Texas RPG Con 2022, or you were running a Boot Hill game that I got to play in, where we had to rescue the town's favorite prostitute from dimension traveling green people. And it was a riot. I don't know how both of my characters survived. We were like limping with one hit point left, but we made it happen. We got that whore back. And everyone lived happily ever after, except for the green people, but screw them. So that was a lot of fun. And then in 2023, you and I played together in a Jeff D game of Cave Master, which was a heck of a lot of fun.
Yes.
What are you up to on the con circuit these days? You say you got plans for future new adventure at Gary Con.
Yep.
And I saw you in North Texas. How are you mixing it up, man?
There's one convention that I go to strictly as a player, and that's the Chattanooga Rail Games Convention. It's a small con, just railroad games. Half of it is what they call Puffing Billy, and that would be the crayon games like Empire Builder and Rail Baron and Metro and Ticket to Ride and those sort of things. The other are what we call the 18XX games, and that would be any kind of year following for XX. Okay, and so it's the same tile and stock system on different maps around the country, around the world, and so on. So yes, it's a weekend of railroad games in Chattanooga, and I'm entirely a player there. I go to a small convention called Play On Con, which is kind of a mix of summer camp and a game convention at the 4-H Center in Alabama. Then the others are probably the ones you're most familiar with in calendar order through the year: Total Con in Marlborough, Massachusetts, Boston; Gary Con in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. This year, I'll be going to Founders and Legends, which is the special 50th anniversary convention that is the weekend preceding Gary Con. So I'm up there the whole week that time. Then back to North Texas, my favorite big little con or little big con, however you want to call it. And the one that I'm going to in a week from now is Gamehole Con in Madison, Wisconsin. Another fun convention. I stick to one location conventions now. Ideally, the whole con is in the same hotel that everybody stays at. Gamehole is a little bigger than that in that there is another hotel within walking distance where some social events and things are held. But I can't do the things like Dragon Con anymore. I was down for Pensacon last year because they had a big Doctor Who thing, and that wore me out going from place to place all over the city. So I like the things where all of the gaming is within a particular area. You can walk around, you can see everybody at the convention in a space of 30 minutes if you want to. It's not going to be like the big cons where a guest makes his appearance on stage and then they go back to their room and you don't see them the whole rest of the con. No. Everybody's playing or walking around. As a guest, I run at least one game a day, but I also want to play, hopefully, in a game a day too. So
That's cool. And I lived in New Hampshire for about 4 years, and one of my group routinely goes to TotalCon. And I had talked him into coming to North Texas next year. So to reciprocate, next February, I'm going to go to TotalCon too. So I get to see you there. That'd be great.
very good, very
Yeah.
good.
I mean, and
That's this coming one, and
yeah.
oh, good.
And with you vouching for it, because we had talked about TotalCon
Yeah.
briefly and how you said it was such a good place to go and they took such good care of you. I was like, okay, I got two people I know and like going. I should check it out. Yeah.
Yep, I think it's a lot of fun. They've got a lot of stuff going for a fairly compact area, and they're very good to the guests. So
That's great. Now, can you think of the best session you ever had at a con or most memorable? It could have been a complete disaster. Is there one con memory that really sticks out at you?
I usually want to say the last one was the best one because I really do try to have as much fun as possible every time. But in recent memory, there was the last Sunday afternoon of last Gamehole Con in a a streaming game, and it was the last stream, the last event of the con. Stefan Percorni of Dwarven Forge was the DM, and I played with Luke Gygax and some very experienced streamer actors, Tommy Gofton and Elisa Teague. And there was an opportunity there where the situation came together, the players were struggling, and I was a magic user, and I turned myself invisible, and the other party only got to do basically one thing a turn. I said, okay, I turned myself invisible. The next turn, I spider climbed up a mountain where the orc shaman was urging his people. I mean, we were in deep, deep trouble. And the next turn, I shoved him over the cliff from an invisible attack. And I said, I'm not going to try to kill him with a spell or anything like that, because I might not, but hopefully I can shove him far enough that he's going to fall into the sacrificial pit down there. And sure enough, that's what happened. And then I proclaimed myself the new orc shaman and made the roll. And so we actually ended with a truce instead of getting massacred. And once again, we lived. So
And you became an orc shaman, or leader of the orcs.
Yes, at least temporarily, yes, because I had deposed that one. So
that's messed up. Well, since I do these interviews and I've already given like what my favorite one was, I'm going to go with a really memorable one. It was from this previous North Texas. We were playing Tecumseh, and Victor Raymond was running it. And we started the session, and we were in this room. There was a portal we were supposed to go through and go to some monastery. Whole adventure laid out. And one of the players decided they wanted to make kind of a sense roll to see if there was any other dimensional gates in here. And he botched as hard as you possibly could. And Victor Raymond said, all right, yeah, matter of fact, you sense one just here left. And the guy said, okay, well, I'm going to jump through it. And Victor let him jump through it. And he didn't come back. And Victor was like, no, y'all got to hold up. What do y'all do? He's gone. You don't know what's happening with him. And we all decide that we're going to go in there with him. And there was this little look in Victor's eyes for a second of, this is not how I planned for this to go at all. But his mastery of the material, his ability as a game master, he just, from what I could tell, skippity doodah, a whole new adventure, just completely bypassed the one that he had written. And it was fantastic. It was so weird. It was so alien. From my limited understanding of Tecumseh, it was perfect for the genre.
And it wasn't a sphere of annihilation you jumped into. Oh, well.
Goodness. Because he could have said, all right, well, slightly change your character names and we're going to start back in the room. He could have done that, but he didn't.